sustainer of all the worlds.
Every time you run on the field, he said, you never know if you'll be running off. If you want to know what separates NFL players from those who watch, it's not money or fame. It's that chilling notion that any play could be your last.
Watch 85 in blue, middle of your screen. That's Kevin Everett taking down Denver's Dominic Hickson. Everett falling to the ground, never moving after the helmet-to-helmet hit. The game would be delayed 15 minutes as Everett was immobilized before being lifted into the ambulance. John Murphy is a Buffalo Bills broadcaster.
I talked to medical sources, and they tell us that Kevin Everett suffered a fractured, dislocated neck with some injuries to his spinal cord. They tell us he has some feeling and movement in his extremities.
Well, they're not giving him any deep shots down the field. They're tackling very well, and then the run game has been non-existent since then.
What a hit. Gibson with the hit. Mingo picks it up. Flag has been thrown. Finley is down. And there go the whistles, and the Packer training staff running out there. And that picture says it all. It was a gain of 10.
Plant right into the ground, which is enough to ding a receiver. Hit right there, and then see his face into the ground, which would hurt even more. He is defenseless. He did get 2 steps, and then there's the hit. You know, you have to ask yourself, is this a hit on the defenseless player to slam right into the turf?
And he is raising the arm, you can see right there, which is a good sign.
We're going to wish Jermichael Finley well.
In the fourth quarter of the Lions-Jets game, Detroit linebacker Reggie Brown collided with an opponent and was knocked unconscious. His eyes rolled back, his lips turned blue. Players began screaming that he wasn't breathing. Medics cut open Brown's pads. They stuck an IV in his arm and a breathing device in his mouth. It took 20 minutes before Brown could be loaded into the ambulance. As the vehicle pulled off the field, fans applauded hopefully. Meanwhile, players from both teams, Jets and Lions, formed 2 huddles. They dropped their heads, leaned on one another, and prayed.
Of this video are you, Troy Aikman? You know, I enjoy it when they show it because I don't remember it when it happened, you know? I literally thought, here's the best part. Here's the best part right here.
You enjoy when they show that?
Watch this. This guy's rubbing you on the head. You look up at him like, I am going to take your head off. I thought a trainer had to run down the sideline.
It's official now. Troy Aikman has suffered another concussion, and his terrible luck with head injuries continues.
And that's been a recurring problem, and something that Troy has to consider as he thinks about his future.
Continued to function. And fortunately, in a sense, they didn't have to have him playing great football because a lot of other people were.
Bo Jackson has some room. One man to beat, and from behind, Kevin Walker saves another touchdown.
Raiders were expecting sooner or later to happen. Some beautiful blocking at the line of scrimmage, and Bo is so strong physically. Those legs are so strong. Talking to Fulcher before the game, he said you can't tackle him in his legs. Look at Steve Smith kick his man out. A great job by Montoya. A beautiful job of pulling and blocking, and watch these broken tackles. So his legs, and of course the
Jackson shaken up a bit, has not gotten to his feet as yet. That was a 34-yard run by Jackson, who does not appear to be seriously injured and gets a big hand from this crowd. What a player.
On November 29, 1992, Jets defensive lineman Dennis Byrd collided with a teammate and shattered a vertebra in his neck. He was carted off the field and his uniform was cut off his back. Partially paralyzed after
35-yard completion when it looked like Favre would be sacked. Now the handoff to Bennett, got 4 over the left side, and Sterling Sharp is down. Sterling Sharp down and in obvious pain.
He's right here. He gets involved in the block. I mean, he's so big and strong. He gets involved in the run play, and you see him there taking on the defensive back, and boy, he took it right on the numbers.
Something is wrong with Sterling Sharpe. We hope to have an answer when we return.
Well, Edwards saw Sharpe coming out and throwing the block on him. Edwards hits him full force, and take a look at Sterling Sharpe's head right there. He snaps his head back, and I believe it's probably a stinger. It's probably one of those deals. And you don't know how serious it is, because anytime the neck is involved, you know, it could be awful. I mean, it could be tragic.
Is the lead back. Gannon scrambling to the 5.
Oh, man.
He may have the first down.
I know that he's got.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I beg your pardon.
He's got a headache.
Derek Brooks.
We talked about Derek Brooks, who's the silent leader of this football team, and all the things that he does. Now, you want to see a head-to-head hit? Here comes Derek Brooks, 55. Watch this. Bam! And that Gannon has got a headache, because he went, look at this. And you are?
Believe me, he knows who he is.
Yo, son, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Tell him to slide, Frank. Tell him to slide. Gannon got to slide. Oh, if he don't slide, now he free game. I hope he all right. I hope he all right, though.
Rather than the birth of a dynasty, the 1998 NFC wildcard game may be instead remembered as marking the end of one.
This time he takes a pretty good hit and is not moving. Young's been hurt.
3 games into the following season, Steve Young was injured and forced to retire. The 49ers struggled to
check down. Stewart with a nice move and a first down. Slow to get up is Nick Collins. He's down at the 30-yard line. And a sight we hate to see. This is Nick Collins down, and they've brought out the board and the stretcher.
Well, there's always cause for concern when you see the stretcher or the board come out, but one thing that the medical departments in the NFL do is they do not mess around. They take care of their players, and if there's any question at all whether or not a guy has a neck or a head injury, then they're going to take every precaution to get him off the field safely. And you see here Collins' head just hits the lower butt.
You have an opportunity to make a play. It's a terrific throw from Caleb Haney. It comes out on time. Watch him throw right in between the corner and the safety. And I believe 31 right there, Cam Chancellor, the other safety, gets his hand on it.
Yeah, but he got
knocks
hit
it out
by Hargrove when the ball came out. Hargrove nails Johnny Knox right in there. You can't see it from that angle, and that's why Knox is still laying on the field.
As he was going down on the ground, Anthony Hargrove, the big defensive lineman, landed on top of him.
Johnny Knox injury again. It was Chancellor who knocked the ball loose after the catch, but Anthony Hargrove, number 94, coming in afterwards. He slams head on with Knox.
And you can see what happens to Knox here as he loses the ball. Watch as he lays.
They say he has very good hands in addition to being tough. Irvin makes the catch from Aikman. Picked up about 8. Bobby Taylor with Michael Irvin, who stays down.
Here's Michael Irvin. He's going to run the slant. You see, he's going to cover about 4 yards and just come to the inside. Bobby Taylor was a little slow getting a jump on that, and it was the second guy in that got Michael Irvin.
Confirm that LaCharles Bentley suffered a torn patellar tendon this morning. He was the face of our free agency class. He's a player that probably wanted to play for the Browns more than anybody we have out there. You know, you just feel bad for the individual. I mean, you know, it's the first practice, and now he's been lost for the year.
against the Patriots.
Rogan will put it in the air. Oh, the intended receiver is Darryl Stingley. The man he ran into is Jack Tatum, and Stingley is down.
It was a play that you make 1,000 times in a game or during the season, and you hit a guy, and you always expect him to get up. And Stingley just didn't get up.
Tatum's hit turned Stingley, a budding star wide receiver, into a quadriplegic. Even though no flags were thrown on the play and no fines were levied against Tatum, his motives were questioned because of his reputation and apparent lack of remorse.
The night actually that it happened, went in the locker room after, and Tate was sitting there smoking a cigarette. And Madden came over and leaned in and he said, "Are you all right?" And I'll never forget, he took the cigarette out of his mouth and he looked at him and he said, "Why wouldn't I be?"
Did you ever apologize to Darryl Stingley?
No, I didn't, and I will tell you why. I apologize because Darryl got hurt, and I'm sorry he got hurt, but I will never apologize for the way I play football. That just won't happen.
Meanwhile, I haven't seen anything from Lockett at this time. And Lockett's still on his side. He is basically not moved since very, very, very violent collision. Mike Pereira, anything in your estimation out of the ordinary on that hit besides just a big hit?
No, you just you look at it and you hate to see these, and you know, say got upset. You know, what could it be? Is it a blindside block? It is not. It's coming from the front, and in fact, really Lockett lowers his head into the shoulder. So there's really nothing illegal about it. But Troy's right. The most violent collisions still happen in the kicking game, which is why, for example, we're kicking off now from the 35-yard line, and over 50% of kickoffs result in touchbacks because of the concern for the violent collisions there.
Reagan's, of course, now 4th all-time in rushing in the NFL. Sorry about that, O.J. Passed you last Sunday. The move behind Peyton, Jim Brown, and Franco Harris. 1st and 10. Riggins, flea flicker, back to Theismann. Theismann's in a lot of trouble. And it was Lawrence Taylor who slammed Theismann to the ground at the 42-yard line. The blitz was on. That's not necessarily a good play to have called. And quickly, Lawrence Taylor was up saying Theismann is hurt. And I don't believe Lawrence Taylor would have reacted that way unless Theismann is really hurt. He slammed him to the natural surface here. The blitz was on. That is not a good call to have with the blitz on. Theismann had no chance at all to get downfield with it. Let's take a look at with our reverse angle camera. He's looking deep, but he knows he's in trouble. Lawrence Taylor, number 56, right there. Carson is number 53. But it's Taylor over Carson, slamming, and you see the right knee, the right foot.
That's the ankle.
And I knew that something was away at the commercial. We took a close shot as they looked at Joe Theismann. There was blood on the right shin bone. And again, we'll look at it with the reverse angle one more time. And I suggest if your stomach is weak, you just don't watch. Number 56 is Lawrence Taylor. He makes the sack. And Theismann's right leg, unfortunately, was caught under Lawrence Taylor. And I'm sure that the word will be coming up very shortly that Theismann's season is over.